Hey guys, it's SRC Reptiles, and today I'm just making you guys a little general update. I just got done feeding all the baby Crested Geckos that are like the youngest and the middle-aged ones. So I wanted to show you, with some improvement with the day gecko. So this is Fern, and as you can see, Fern is getting quite a bit fatter. Because Fern has really been enjoying insects. So when I offer Fern Pangea, which I normally offer them Pangea once to twice a week, I do not have this little dish in here, which is what I feed the insects in. But probably twice a week I will put some insects in that little dish. And normally I'll go through and pick like 3 small mealworms that I have, because I bought large, but I pick like the 3 smallest ones. And then I pick normally 1 to 2 small crickets, like throughout the week. So through that, whole week period, he or she is probably getting like 4 small mealworms and 2 crickets along with the Pangea. For now, of course, because obviously this is still a small little 4-month-old baby. Well, they'll be 4 months old this month anyway. So it's quite funny because all the crickets I have are not really that small. Like this one here is a leftover from when I just got done feeding. It's probably, I'd say, medium-sized. And it's funny because Fern does not let that deter them from eating that cricket. Because the other day, I'm just going to say she for now because I don't know the gender. The other day she was like sitting right here on the side, and you can see where she has gotten calcium powder on the side here, which I take multivitamin powder and calcium with D3 powder, and I have it in a little Ziploc baggie right here that I will shake the insects up in. And so because I still want her to be getting the vitamins and stuff, and obviously, she has her UVB/UVA in her basking bulb right here, which she loves either sitting on this little soap tray, or she'll sit literally right here at the mesh under that heat lamp. She loves laying under the heat. And it's funny because she absolutely loves this plant that I got at Walmart, which I'm shocked that they even sell decent plants now for reptiles. And then she really likes to hang out over here. It's funny because she really doesn't hang out over here very often. Like sometimes when she's resting she will. And then right now, because it's so dry, I've put a little bit of damp moss at the very front, so all I have to do is open the doors, kind of mist it and move it around. This tank was supposed to be for an animal that I was rescuing, but that didn't work out, so I'm not really going to talk about that. The person decided to keep them after all, and it was, yeah, so I don't really want to visit about it too much just because it kind of makes me sad. I'm really hoping they will get the animal in a better enclosure than what they had it in, so it was not really in that great of a situation, but she decided to keep it, so I really couldn't do nothing about it. Anyway, though, the Leopard Gecko is really enjoying being in his bigger terrarium that I have set up here, which is a 20-gallon. And I have released some crickets in here for the last couple days. Today I put, I think, 4 more in that were calcium covered open. One of them has actually fallen into the calcium dish, so I'm going to have to get it out here in a second. But it's funny because Lemon Drop just prefers to hunt the crickets in the tank versus me trying to put them in a dish. I got rid of the large dish and just put this little glass jar in here, which is what the day gecko used to have. And I've got mealworms in there. He acts like he's too high and mighty to eat mealworms, and he only likes dubias and crickets. But I still have them in there just in case for any reason he wants to snack on something. Normally once a week, I will take out the mealworms that are in that dish and I'll put them back in their container, and I'll put new ones in there. That way they don't die of not having enough food or anything like that. I don't think I've showed Vesper in a while, so I'll get Vesper out real quick. Vesper, of course, is my gargoyle gecko. And she's really good at hiding. I don't have the main light on right now, so it's kind of hard for me to see. Oh, I found her. Normally I'll just feel around and I can find her that way. So here's Vesper. She's getting quite big, which I'll go ahead and just turn the light on just so it'll be easier to see. Turn this lamp off. So as you can see, Vesper's getting quite big, so which is awesome. I'm definitely going to be having to move her soon, which I don't remember if I've talked about this, but soon I'm definitely going to be having to get her into a bigger enclosure. Obviously she's still going to be just fine in this 12 by 12 by 18. She really likes to jump. But you can see just how big she's getting, which is awesome because obviously I made a video about it in the past about how she came from a home that the breeder had allowed her to become really constipated and dehydrated. And for like the first month, we were really giving her extra fluids and pumpkin, and she had been by the vet, and we checked for worms and stuff, and she didn't have any worms, luckily. And the vet said I was doing everything right, so she obviously is doing awesome now at a little over a year old. She's growing really well. As you can see, she's quite big. Obviously my arm's not a great measurement, but if I had to guess, she's probably about 7 or so inches in length just because her tail is so long. I don't get her out as often because she's the type she really doesn't care to be handled for long periods of time because she gets stressed easily, or she just doesn't really care to be handled because she'll open her mouth and she won't like bite, but she'll just open it as a warning of, hey, you know, I'm done. So just to keep from stressing her out, not stressing her out, I normally don't handle her too much. So even though she tolerates it, she obviously will jump every so often. She has quick movements like she is doing right now. So once she gets older, I feel like I probably can handle her a little bit better because she'll be a little bit less likely to get as super stressed as she does as a young gargoyle. And she has really been enjoying once a week. I give her a cricket or two when I put in her Pangea. And of course her feeding ledge is right there. So that is how Vesper's doing. And you really can't see it too well. Oh, but she just fell onto her little hide down there. But she really loves this ladder, which I will always suggest if you have a Petco or a PetSmart that sells these bird ladders. They're really great. I will show you guys real quick because there has been some developments with the decor. So my boyfriend's mom got me a gift card for Michael's. And I will tell you right now, Michael's has awesome plants that are super affordable. Like this plant right here was $3. This is huge. Like, just as a reference, here's my hand. So I bought 2 of these because I want to put one in with Mischief and I want to put one in with Snickers because their tanks are lacking something in the center. And then for Indigo's tank, this is an actual reptile plant. And it cost me $10. So obviously you can just go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and buy stuff because this one here was $1.99, so $2. So obviously there's not a lot of foliage here, but to go along with it, I got this fern for $1.50. And as you can see in this tank here, I intertwined them because they do have metal in there so they can bend. And that is what I put in with 2 of my newest babies that got moved into larger tanks. And then I bought a couple deals of this cord here, and I made sure to get one that didn't have a scent because a lot of the like jute rope and twine, even if it says natural, when you get it wet it has a very strong odor and it does not go away. So I'm hoping that this will work out because I want to braid it and kind of make a bridge of sorts, or like a really just long piece of string. I know a lot of people will use paracord, but I feel like this here, it's a little bit softer, and also it will be quite wide when I have 3 pieces that are twined together. As for with paracord, I'm not really too familiar with paracord, so they might make wide pieces like this, but this didn't really cost me too much. I think it was like $4 or something like that for a 15-foot length of it, and I got a couple of those so I could make them for the reptile tanks. But like the whole bag itself I think was like $40 maybe, and I got 10 plants, those 2 deals, and then I think there was like one other thing in there, like some popsicle sticks to stir paint. That was for me, of course. But I really love how that turned out because even though Gemstone's not in the plants right now because I just got done feeding them, like that offers a lot of different areas for them to hide. Yes, it's not as good as like this plant here where it's, you know, got a whole bunch of leaves and stuff that are real broad, but it's better than I just having like this little tiny plant in there. So of course the little itty bitty babies, except for Alucard, his plant is different. All of them have this type of plant that I got at Walmart, and I think I got them for like 75 cents or something like that. So I don't hardly ever buy actual plants for reptiles. because they're so expensive and it's just ridiculous. Like, obviously, if you have 1 or 2 as a pet, then it's not really that big of a deal, but otherwise it gets pretty expensive when you are breeding and you want to provide, you know, enough hides for your animals. Then, sorry, I just completely got distracted because this tank up here, all the paper towel is all bunched up over here, and then that one's flat, so I don't know how they managed to do that. And then, of course, I don't think I've showed, but my mouse, I don't really talk about him too often because obviously I mainly focus on reptiles. His tank got cleaned recently. I added a whole bunch more bedding because obviously he's bigger than when he was a little baby. He kicked a whole bunch of his dirt out because he has made a little ramp that goes down to here like this, and it's holding together because it's eco-earth mixed with reptile soil. And he also has some pieces of, it looks like Timothy hay in there, so that really helps hold it together. But he has made a lot of tunnels, as you can see, and he has yet again buried the nozzles to his water bottle, so I'm going to have to fix that. But yeah, so he really enjoys having that dirt area, and when I go and put his food in, I'll sprinkle it around, and I also will like sprinkle some in his coconut so that he will forage for it and get to look for it versus it just being in a dish, because he was kind of getting chub the first month that I had him because I was offering in a dish before I knew it was okay to just sprinkle it around, so yeah. So as you can see, this is Mischief's tank, which will be getting cleaned this week because his poop and his shed skin is littering the bottom and it's just disgusting. Also, I don't know what it is about my Crested Geckos lately. They have been getting the tank fronts so dirty. They step in the food and they just walk all over the place. Now, Indigo, hers isn't as bad. There's just a few spots. But Blaze, she has like this one spot where she stuck her foot here and just dragged the food. Mischief is constantly making a mess on his. But as you can see, like, he's got a couple ladders or these little bamboo deals, and he's got, you know, a couple things down there. But, ooh, I almost knocked his water dish on the floor. But there's nothing really here in the center, and I really want to have something here in the middle. So what I'm probably going to do with those 2 big leaves is I'm obviously going to bend the stem, and I'm going to probably make a cutout in the foam background and have that elbow of the stem where it kind of goes like this in a U shape from the leaf to where the stem starts. And I'm probably going to glue that with hot glue into that foam and use it as a way to support the weight of the leaf as well as the gecko, versus where if I were to just try to use like suction cups or something, which I wouldn't be able to use where there's foam there, or even using just like some string to support the leaf. But I'd rather have it more, you know, in the foam, and yes, it'll be permanent being like that, but you know, I'd rather it hold their weight versus just falling really easy. And then Snickers, like I said, she's just as bad. She's gets food and stuff all over hers. And hers, of course, as you can see, she loves coming down here and pooping a whole bunch, so it looks really disgusting when the rest of her tank really doesn't look that bad. But as you can see, hers is pretty empty here in the center as well. I've got this piece of wood that's just laying in here because it was standing up at one point, but it ended up falling because she goes and jumps on it, and it's not super duper stable because there's nothing really in here to hold it, so I've just laid it down to be safe and it not fall on her. So we've got like cork and stuff in here. So this one is getting redone for sure. And there's some tanks I'm just not as satisfied with how they're looking versus others. And with Indigo, hers has a bridge and a bamboo deal. So the upper part is real good. But the center, as you can see, it's pretty empty. So that's why I got that plant to go in the center here. Now, her main spots that she likes hanging out is in this deal back here, which this is actually a canning funnel that I turned into a hide. She loves that thing. She uses it religiously. She loves sleeping in there. And then you can see she's got plants over here on the side, and then she's got her cork round, which she likes to sleep in sometimes. And she really loves to come down here and get under these plants and sleep, even if the humidity is high. So it's interesting. But I have added, I don't know if you've noticed, wash rags to the back, and even though they dry out, I take a little cup, a little feeding cup like what they have right here, and I'll fill it with warm water, and I'll drizzle it on that wash rag so that it'll absorb the humidity. That way I'm not having to take the wash rags off, re-wet them, lay them back down. It's so much easier for me to just go over it with a little dish in the water. So that's another tip. I know I didn't really mention that in the humidity video, but if you don't want to have to take all the wash rags off, you can just use a little cup and dump it on there. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Here with Blaze, her tank I'm pretty satisfied with. I'm not going to do anything to it. Obviously, it could probably use something more in the center, you know, in the future. But she's got this low ladder. She's got her bamboo here. She has a little funnel cup as well. She doesn't use it very often because this is the main spot that she sleeps. She loves sleeping in this, and if she's not in that, she's normally behind this plant here, as you can see. She's got a cork piece that's there, and then she's got her little teacup, which she hardly ever uses anymore because now she loves sleeping right here and watching me. But hers I'm pretty satisfied with. Like, there's a lot of different things at different heights that she enjoys using. But yeah, so Mischief, Snickers, and Indigo's tanks are going to be getting an upgrade with like decor items and stuff. So I am definitely looking forward to being able to play around with stuff like that now that I've bought a whole bunch of new plants and whatnot. And then, yeah, these are my crickets. I'll just show you real quick. That's what they look like. I've already talked about them, I'm pretty sure, in a previous video. We got the dubia roaches in here. So I am adding this clip in because I completely forgot to tell you guys that the Chinese mantis, I have her in here now because she is not doing very good. Obviously the hissing cockroaches are now in the tank that she used to be in. But she went and laid a 4th egg sac or egg case that's over here. And I have all of her egg cases in here, even though I got on and somebody had told me, well, several people told me that if I've had her for as long as I have, that the egg cases are probably going to be infertile because they normally lay eggs after like a month of being bred with. But she has hardly any strength, so she mainly just always lays down here. Sometimes she will climb this wood. Over here is where those 3 other egg cases are chilling out. But I have to pretty much just tongue feed her now, so I don't think she's going to be living too much longer, but she is still alive. And as long as she's still alive, I obviously am still going to feed her. So I give her crickets and mealworms, and then if there's any dubia roach pieces, like there's a piece back there that's laying that she ate on, if there's any pieces that my geckos won't eat, then I give them to her. So she gets fed normally every other day. So like a day she won't get fed and then the next day she doesn't, but you know, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to add this in there because I forgot to mention that she is still alive. She's just not really doing too good, so not expecting her to live too much longer, but like I said, I'm still going to feed her till she dies, so yeah, figured I'd add that in there for you. I can show you the hissing cockroaches real quick, but after that we'll just wrap it up. So this is the hissing cockroaches tank currently. We have the ivy that's on this side, and then we've got my African violet. I've had to move their stuff around, and they still have moved that because I got a heat lamp to go on top for them to have during the day. And they, for some reason, they have like this huge stump right here. It's pretty big. Where do they choose to sleep? In here. In this tiny little seed pod, they all choose to sleep. Like literally just pile on top of each other. For some unknown reason, they would rather be in this pod that has hardly any room for them instead of this nice big large stump. So that was amusing when I discovered that for some reason, now obviously if I took this pod away, they'd probably use the stump, but they clearly like the pod, so I've left it in there. Now their apple pieces are getting a little dried out, but I left them in here anyway because the springtails and the little mites and whatnot that live in the soil really enjoy eating on those apple pieces. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on in there. I want to get some more stuff going in this tank eventually, but for now I'm just kind of leaving it so that they can adjust. Now every so often I'll see them like roaming around, but for some reason they just are content to stay in that seed pod for like the entire day. I know they're nocturnal, and obviously I keep the lamp going till I go to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning, so I don't really get to see them moving around too much. I know that they do because I'll see stuff moved when I get up the next morning. They've got a little piece of cuttle bone back there which gives them some calcium, and then they've got a cricket food and fish flake mix with a couple pieces of cat food in there. And that's like their grain type food, and then of course they've got their water crystals here. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed getting to see this little update with, you know, a whole bunch of different little critters and different things. And I hope to do a video soon showing you all of the baby crested geckos and how they're doing. Here's my boyfriend's cat. She comes over and meows because she thinks she needs food, but she gets fed only twice a day because you can see she's a little chonky girl, aren't you, Cleo? Yeah. She comes over and begs like she needs food when she's already been fed today, so it's like, nope. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. It always encourages me to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.